This is an unusual line reference question because it involves two completely separate parts of the passage, but it actually can help us a lot because anything that's repeated in those two places is probably going to help us understand the answer to the question. So we're being asked specifically about this phrase, stand out. Here's where the long break in the passage would be, but let's go to each of these areas, read a little bit around it, a sentence on each side, and then just try to see what's repeated. So this first part, though, talks about the Chinese. Mostly, though, there are more Chinese than she ever imagined. Compradors in tang jackets, black and white amahs, monks in their yellow robes, crowding everywhere, more than she's ever seen. And this she keeps to herself. Secretly, she feels like an extra again, is glad of her chic Western wardrobe Chanel suits for helping her stand out. The Mayfair Mannequin Academy of New York named her the world's best dressed woman in 1934. So what's going on here? Well, everyone else is Chinese, and she's wearing Western clothes. Okay, that's all I need to know for now. Let's keep going. Now 78. She can't recall the last time she felt invisible like this, but she fears getting lost in the crowd. She relies on newsreel to pick her out. Lost in the crowd, invisible. Newsreel to pick her out on the camera and make her stand out. In later years, she'll wear those dresses in movies and charge the studios an extra fee to rent her wardrobe. So standing out here is about being noticed, is about not blending in, or to use the words there, we'll use a dumb summary. She's standing out. She's not invisible. Okay, so now let's see if we can find similar ideas in the choices. A, highlight Anna's active participation in the newsreel and her later disregard for it. Well, I know that a lot of this passage has her kind of posing for the camera, but I don't remember reading anything about this. Certainly not in the lines that are being directed to here, that she's disregarding the camera and this guy newsreel. In fact, even in this end piece where she feels invisible, she's relying on the camera to make her stand out. So she's not disregarding the camera. The camera is the only thing that makes her feel noticed. So this is just contradictory to what they're saying. It's also very strong, disregarding the camera. We really need some strong evidence of that. B, portray Anna as materialistic. Very strong word. If you are materialistic, you are preoccupied with things. You define your own success, your own worth by the things that you own. This is a very strong word. It's usually a very negative word. And so, yeah, they're talking about the clothes that she's wearing, the things, but it's not very negative. It's not saying that she's a bad person for having these certain clothes. And she's in different clothes at the beginning than she is at the end of this line reference set here, but that's not really the point. She's not like a bad person in either of these sets of lines. And her visit to China is an attempt to garner more fame. Well, I don't even know that. They're just talking about what clothes she's wearing and what clothes people around her are wearing. I've got nothing that says that she's like, hungry for fame because of this. That's a very big leap from what we're seeing in these lines. Choice C, demonstrate that Anna is unable to successfully assimilate into Chinese culture. Well, that's also very strong here. She's unable to successfully assimilate. Well, the last piece here says that she feels invisible and she's afraid of getting lost in the crowd. They're saying that she has assimilated, that she just looks like everybody else now, and so she's clearly assimilated in some way, at least the way that it looks. So we don't have evidence to the contrary to suggest that she's not assimilating. Yes, there are other things in this passage that talk about her difficulties with the language, and I guess a lot of it is about assimilation in certain ways, but this is the advantage of the no reading strategy. We go to the lines that we're told, we go only to those lines, we read a little extra on either side, but we're really focused on just what we're being told to do, and when we discount all the other big picture ideas in this passage, this assimilation thing is just not appearing in these lines. And if it does appear, it's saying the opposite, that she is blending in with everybody else. So that leaves us with D. Underscore the importance Anna places on feeling distinctive. Yes, it's all about whether or not she blends in, right? The first chunk here is saying that she is distinctive. Everybody else is dressed in Chinese clothes except her, so she's glad that she stands out because of her Western clothes. The passage continues, she changes clothes, and then we get to the second piece where now in the Chinese clothes, she no longer stands out, and that makes her fearful, right? She's afraid of getting lost. So standing out here is good. Standing out here, well, it's still good, but the way that they phrased it in the second part is that she is feeling negative about not standing out. So standing out is still positive. It's just they've kind of shown some sort of contrast, and that word standing out is consistent. It consistently is a thing that she wants, and so she wants to feel distinctive. She wants to stand out. Really good question, because it has a lot of components here, and we're flipping between things, but the answer ends up being pretty simple. The phrase stand out means to look distinctive, and so it very much falls in line with our expectations here, and the only reason we might go astray is if we've brought too much of the other parts of this passage into our thinking, and we're not narrowing our focus to the lines that we're supposed to. We're instead kind of doing too much work and losing sight of the task which was given to us in the question. Narrow your focus. Stay on task, stay on target, and don't try to do too much in one question. It's usually very narrow, and that's how we get the answers.